Don't be f***ing coward. Don't smack me, you
Oh, look! Oh, that's some murder! Oh, that's some murder!
Oh my gosh.
Anyways.
That boy done messed up. Nah, but seriously, what Meyers Leonard of the Miami Heat did just a few days ago in his Twitch stream was pretty terrible, and the repercussions he's getting for it are well deserved. For those of you unaware, Meyers Leonard the other day was playing the popular first-person shooter Call of Duty Warzone on the video game streaming website Twitch. And while he was playing the game, he got mad at someone and used a racial slur that's derogatory towards Jewish people. For the sake of anyone watching, and for lack of a better term, let's just go ahead and call it the K word. It's not completely accurate, but the way that you can think of it as a sort of a broad stroke of definition is that it's the N word, but for Jewish people. Now, if you've never heard of the K word before, trust me, you're not alone. Many people, after quite a few years of life and quite a lot of experience in Call of Duty lobbies, had never even heard of the word. Personally, I only know about it because of a book that I read in the 8th grade that was set in the 1950s, where it was basically a bunch of Americans being super racist towards Jewish and Asian Americans. Fun times, the 1950s for a minority. But in order to get you up to speed, let me give you a quick history lesson real quick. Enjoy. So basically in the 1890s, the United States of America had opened up its immigration borders for the first time to Europeans. Before that, they'd been awfully closed off because not only of technological limitations, but also because they didn't want any new people coming into America and messing up the whole American vibe they got there. And you know, the Civil War sort of happened, so it was a whole big mess. But now in the 1890s, they were open to immigration. So one of the biggest immigration stations in the United States at the time was stationed in New York City. One, because New York City was a huge port town back then, that's why it's so populated even right now. And two, it was one of the closest routes to get to America from Europe. So you had scores of immigrants from Europe coming in, right? Which also meant that there were a lot of Jewish people coming. Now, a lot of them didn't understand the English language or even the alphabets that we're used to. They had a completely different script that didn't use letters. So on Ellis Island, it was customary to check off like the boxes for the documentation with an X. You know, the same way that we use a check mark or whatever else you use to fill in the blank or whatever like that. Now, the Jewish people that didn't know how to read our letters associated the X with the cross of Jesus, which is something they didn't like because they didn't really vibe with Christianity like that. So instead of using an X, they would be using a circle. And the Yiddish word, which is the language that they used for circle, is kakel. Eventually got to the point where the officers in Ellis Island would start shortening that, and then somehow it became a derogatory term towards Jews that outsiders would use for them, and then Jews would use on other Jews that they didn't like, and it became a whole big thing. And now we're here in the 21st century. But that's besides the point. In using a word that's so archaic, so infrequent, and so purposefully,
they got your ass on camera.
Me in the fucking camera.
This is the clearest video I've ever seen. This is the most HD shit ever. This is 4K. How did they get you in 4K?
That ain't me.
nah, but for real, this dude really tried this. I mean, look at this apology letter. I didn't know what it meant. I mean, the dude pauses before he says it.
Don't fucking snipe me, you fucking...
Then he says it, and then he goes, anyways. Now, alright, this is where we get a little bit... Just stay with me on this, okay? Just because he said that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad person. Don't click off, don't click off, don't click off. I mean, it's really easy to get caught up in all that vitriol and mob mentality. I mean, I know because like I was in it there for a few hours myself, you know what I'm saying? But surprisingly, Meyers Leonard isn't that bad a guy. As I was doing research for this video, I was expecting to find some shady stuff, some things associated with, you know, racism and all of these different things, but no, I could only find great stories about him. Stories about how he personally helped a Portland reporter through depression. Somehow he ended up giving one of his Twitch stream viewers his number and helping him lose weight after he'd expressed that he'd had insecurity with the way he looked. He literally texted him workout plans, gave him meal plans, and even sent him gear in order for him to accomplish his goal. But that's not it. He also raised some $170,000 through a Twitch stream to communities that needed relief for COVID-19. And he also promised to donate $100,000 to black communities in South Florida that were struggling with both COVID and voter suppression. I'm sort of as surprised as you are. I mean, I might be a little bit biased because his mom had some like cool TikToks back in the bubble, but shoot. I mean, the notion's out there. But you're probably waiting on the one picture. You know, the one that's so easy to conflate him with being an all-out racist. But before I show you that, let me show you this. Yes, you're seeing that right. And you're thinking exactly what you're seeing. I'll tell you, I was surprised to see it at first, but I understand why he did so. If you didn't know, Greg Popovich is heavily involved with the military. He graduated from the United States Air Force Academy, and he's gone through so many other things with them. So yeah, I respect that. Just like I still respect Meyers Leonard's decision to stand for the flag. I mean, it takes a different type of courage to go against the grain, particularly in such a polarized, extreme environment like that one was. Whether you agree or disagree, the decision to not compromise his values in the face of such extreme criticism demands some respect, and his reasoning might be valid. I mean, just listen to this.
I teared up in front of my teammates because I explained myself from my heart and they accepted me. And, you know, two of our captains, Jimmy and Udonis, I mean, they stood up and made it very clear, along with the coaching staff and Pat Riley on down, that, you know, this is what he believes, but he's a good man with a good heart.
And just in case you think he's lying, because honestly I thought he was, here's head coach Eric Spoelstra backing him up.
You know, he has the backing of everybody in the locker room. Everybody knows where his heart is.
So Greg Popovich and Meyers Leonard both have strong ties to the military. I mean, Meyers said himself he had a phone full of Navy SEALs, and his brother also served 2 tours in Afghanistan. So the American flag means something different to them than most people. We all know where Pop stands on social justice. And let's be honest here, Meyers had to have been genuine to pass the test from both Udonis Haslem and Jimmy Butler. I mean, those guys are better judges of character than 99.99% of the people that were out there criticizing. And so I do believe that his standing had good intent. If you still don't believe me, here I'm gonna link a video down in the description where he was on NBA on TNT, where he was talking about his whole thing. You go ahead and judge for yourselves. But besides all that, come on, bro. Really? When you choose to do something that is so much against the grain, something that is in such an extreme polarized position, you're held to a different standard. The people that are making the MAGA and the Utah jokes are 100% justified because you asked for it. Because when you do something in line with what your previous action was stereotyped as, that's just what's gonna happen. But to be honest with you, I'm not even that surprised. Because at the end of the day, once you take everything out of the equation, the politics, the controversy, all that, you have a 29-year-old man who plays professionally for the National Basketball Association, cussing up a storm on a video game streamed to hundreds of viewers and potentially millions as it now has. I mean, you saw how much I had to bleep out in that intro, man. Golly, chill out. You're a professional. You're a professional! And based off the precision and the comfortness in which he was using it, he's no stranger to that type of language. Now, I never watched his Twitch streams, but I could imagine they were all similar, if not the same. When you're a professional athlete, with the type of reputation you have, which you put upon yourself, you gotta act like that. After you go through so much pain and agony, there's no way you just hear a word on Call of Duty one day and are like, hey, you know what would be a good idea? Even though I don't know what this word means, it could be potentially offensive, I don't really care. Even though I live in South Florida, I play for a Jewish owner, in a league with a Jewish commissioner, I'm gonna use this word when I get mad because I don't know what it means. Come on. What type of person over the age of 17 hears a new word on Call of Duty of all things and says, hey, I'm gonna try that one out next time? What? But not only that, but record yourself doing it. That just adds to the level of stupid that's going on here. Come on, bro, tee up, man. Though it's probably a little too late for that now. You're out of a job, buddy.
Well, click, get ready for your Kodak moment.
Yo, my wife needs me. She just called me. I gotta roll, brother. GG's.
Okay. Hey, GG about that. What do you think?
Yep.
This is 4K!